Welcome back to Dork Points, everybody. This is Ron, and tonight we will be going down the list of PS Premium games. Yes, 10 of them that you should play or must play if you have the PS Premium one. We did one a few weeks ago on Extra, so now it's time for Premium. The first one, obviously, being the first game you should play for sure, without a doubt, if you hadn't yet, is the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. This is Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure if 4... I think 4 is also in the premium collection as well, but there's not much to say here. I'm sure you've heard everything you need to know. If you haven't played them yet, just play them. They are really fun. There are some slightly difficult, stealthy moments, but overall, the action and the gameplay is really fun, and it's just like an adventure movie, just like Indiana Jones on crack. Alright. Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is free on the PS Premium Classics tier. This is the David Cage, Quantic Dream, the people who brought you the wonky and horrible controls of Heavy Rain that everybody always talks about. But this is the first of, well, not the first of his games, but this was the first on the PS3. I think he's got one or two games before this. But yeah, despite all its wonkiness, underneath everything, there is actually a really good story going on, despite the press X to Jason, which I'm letting go on a little too far. But yeah, when you get into the meat of the game, the story itself and all the characters kind of flush themselves out, and it's really addictive, and you don't want to do anything wrong. Looking back on it now, it's a little tough, but if you haven't played, just check it out. Alright, and now the second David Cage game, right in a row. I'm not counting this as a sequel, this is its own number in the rankings here. It's Beyond Two Souls. I put this one on the list because, well, just like Heavy Rain, it's kind of a must-play for those of you who are like me, who like almost playable movies, and the interaction on this game is so much smoother and easier. There are a couple setbacks with the fact that at certain moments of the game, you literally don't have to press any button. You can just break the game, and the game will just keep moving forward and keep feeding you the story as as you do nothing. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, for anybody who's a fan of a movie video game or playing a movie, this one's right up there. And you got Willem Dafoe. Come on. Alright, next is Patapon, Almighty Patapon. Alright, so this is one of the games on the list. This and Hotline Miami, spoilers, are the only two games on the list that I have not beaten. I just started playing this again. I got this for my daughter a while back, and she did not dig it, but I'm playing it again, and it's pretty cool. It's a complex kind of, what would you say? You gotta do the beat thing, like a dancing game, and you gotta press the buttons on the beat in order to move your characters forward and do things. It's good. It's pretty fun. Alright, moving on to Wipeout. Here's another game that does not require much explanation. If you grew up in the era of F-Zero and never got a chance to play it like I did, this is the ultimate realization of that sad, pathetic dream. Yeah, it's awesome, and it's free on the premium tier. Wipeout, check it out. Alright, next is Deadlight Director's Cut. And this one I'm pushing not because it's the greatest game ever. There have been a lot of those on this list, but this is a must-play, at least for people like myself. It is kind of a strategic, side-scrolling zombie survival horror game. And man, it may look unpleasant or not fun to play or too hard, but trust me, it is not. If I can beat it, you can beat it. It is really, really fun. I highly recommend Deadlight. Alright, moving on to something that a lot of people recommend, Hotline Miami. Yeah, this is the second game on the list, the only two games that I have not beat, but I do appreciate It's music, as you can obviously hear, and it's throwback nature. The first couple levels are really fun once you get the hang of them, but it does get to that, just like playing an old 8-bit game like Castlevania. It gets to that point where you can't do it anymore. Alright, moving on to Metro. Both Metro games, Metro 23 and Metro Last Light, are available in the PS Premium Classics tier, and I'm going to spend a little more time on this one because I think this is one of those games that not a lot of people have played, and I really think you'd appreciate it. So I want to show you a lot of the gameplay and just like walking around. Humanity lives underneath in the subway systems now, and just walking around in that environment is so satisfying, and you're really just fully immersed in this world and this story. The first game has a difficulty level that is a bit tough. I was able to get through it, like I said. The second one, they give you a few more options, and it plays a little more like a straight shooter, but there are elements of watching your bullets, watching your oxygen, because you have an oxygen mask on. Everything is radiated. It's like Fallout, but the maps are limited, and the difficulty is real. It's really beautiful to look at, and what you're seeing here is footage from the remastered versions. I'm not sure. I presume because the Uncharted collection, which I remastered, they're in the Classics collection, and I believe the Redux, these Redux versions that you're seeing here right now, are the versions you would get if you played them. Unfortunately, a lot of the games in the PS Premium tier are streaming only. If this one is available to download, I highly recommend downloading it, especially Last Light, because the visuals are worth it. You don't want to be streaming it, and you'll just appreciate it much more with nice, crisp, clear visuals. But yeah, Metro Redux, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus is actually free now on the extra tier, which, yay! Okay, now this one's an obvious hit out of the park. It's the Borderlands Handsome Collection, which contains Borderlands 2, of course, which is fantastic. I presume anybody who's gonna play this has played it already because they've been available forever, but now they're free if you have that extra tier. Borderlands 2 is the one I started with, and I really did appreciate it. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is pretty solid as well. I kind of played them backwards. I went from 3 to 2 to the pre-sequel, but also this Handsome Collection has all the DLC for 2, all the little playable games that they added later, including Roll for Initiative! Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. And I've made a couple videos of this now, but probably some of the best DLC you'll ever play. You do unfortunately have to beat the main game for Borderlands 2 in this version in order to play it. It's not standalone, just so you know. Alright, and finally, the last game of the night. And again, if you haven't played it, or you haven't heard of it, well, now you're hearing of it and seeing it, but I think most people who haven't played BioShock probably aren't gonna try it now, but I know it splits people down the middle sometimes, but I would say if you love shooters, BioShock is one of the best shooters ever made. It's got a lot of horror elements to it. It's very intense, and at times it is very difficult. But of course, there are there's not difficulty settings, but your character comes back to life the moment you die in the little tube. But yeah, they're just all so good, and all three of them are available. And I know a lot of people rag on BioShock Infinite as being the weakest of the three. I would say 2 is. But just look at the visuals here from BioShock Infinite. This is the world you get to play in, and it definitely gets darker and scarier as it goes along. But yeah, all 3 BioShock games are available to play on the PS Premium tier, and yeah, amazing. If you haven't played them yet, please play them. Now, honorable mentions. Resistance 3 is available there. A great shooter if you haven't played it. Also, the Ratchet & Clank PS3 era games are all there. Play them. And Rage, which, not Rage 2. Don't look down at Rage 2. Just Rage. That's the good one. It's like a really beautiful Borderlands or something. First-person Borderlands. It's amazing. Okay, now let's talk about the downside. Now, PS Plus Premium, or PS Premium, or whatever it's called, has all these classic games. But you know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have the Capcom or State Arcade Stadium. It doesn't have. I can speak. It doesn't have Neo Geo collections. It doesn't have the Namco museums. It doesn't have the Sega collection. It doesn't have any early Rockstar games, including Bully or the original Red Dead or Max Payne 1 or 2. Also, no Doom 3, no Blood Rain, none of the Killzone games, none of the Metal Gear games, none of the cheaper old school like Ratalaika games, no Hard Reset, no Katamaris, no Silent Hills, not even Shadow Warrior 1 or some of the earlier Sniper Elites, and none of the Tomb Raiders. Even the old ones I'd take, but none of them. So, yeah, it's a shame, but well, there you go. Anyways, Dork points earned. I hope I showed you the good and bad side of Premium. If you want to get it, there you go. All right. Good night.